Here we are. We're kicking it podcast style. I'm with Into Misery,
What's up?
a very good emo singer
Thank you.
slash hip hop artist, but he's not a rapper. I'll tell you that
I'm
much.
not a rapper. The genre is called emo rap, but I do not rap. I just sing.
Yeah, and he sings well, that's for sure.
Thank you.
All right, so me and him, we go back. We've known each other for a couple years, but I've never had the opportunity to ask him, how did you come up with that name, Into Misery?
Okay, so it's kind of funny. Have you ever heard of the artist Nothing Nowhere?
Yes.
Okay. So he's a big influence of mine, and I liked how obscure his name sounded, and I actually came up with a list of names. I can pull it up real quick if you want. I got it on here.
Yeah, let's hear it, man.
I came up with a list of names, and I'll read through a few of them. I wanted something that was dark sounding,
Yeah.
but also kind of obscure like his name.
Mm-hmm.
So, some of the names I came up with stuff like Left Alone, Anywhere Else, When It Ends, Into Misery, Brought Down, Death by Depression. I don't know. I wanted something that was around the same length of words.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like not too long, not too short,
Yeah.
but dark. I wanted something where you could see the name and be like, I have a feeling that's going to be some dark music.
And like it sticks out too.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. So like one was like, what's your like relationship with music? I guess like when did it start?
Okay, so that's my entire life. I don't know if we've ever discussed this part before, but my dad, he's worked in the music industry.
Okay.
He does radio promotion. So throughout my life, I've grown up around music. He's always brought CDs home for me from his job. Yeah. I've gone to probably 100 shows with him. And so I just really grew up around music, going to shows. He'd always play his classic rock in the car. And that was actually what got me into music, was the classic rock. Specifically Rush, the band Rush, and the drummer, Neil Peart. I remember I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and my dad showed me one of his drum solos, and it blew my freaking mind.
Yeah.
And so from there, I'd drum on the table, drum on the walls. Something in me wanted to drum.
Okay.
And so I think around Christmas, when I was about 10 years old, they got me a tiny starter little drum kit. It probably goes up to here. I was a small kid, so it was a very tiny kit, but I played with that. I practiced with that. And it got to the point where I was working a job eventually, and I bought my own drum kit. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I like I said, I was inspired by Rush, Def Leppard. That always blew my mind. Freaking One Hand,
Yeah.
But it was mostly classic rock that really got me in. And then just drumming. And throughout high school, I was in a couple punk rock bands. And because of those experiences, that's actually why I got into making music solo.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously difficult to coordinate schedules.
Yeah.
Figure out whose house are we meeting at this week.
Yeah.
Too much drama. I remember in my very first band, we couldn't even figure out what name we wanted to go with.
Yeah.
I wanted to go with the name Bad Notions, which is that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. A good punk band name for sure.
Exactly. And our guitarist wanted the name Judo Vibes, which I know.
I mean, maybe for like a reggae band or something.
Exactly. I didn't like that name, but the other guys liked it, so we went with it. And actually, if you go into downtown Franklin, beneath the tunnels, the waterway tunnels.
Yeah.
Right below the cemetery, there's a giant wall with Judo Vibes spray painted on it. It's still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's
cool.
Classic rock and drumming is definitely what got me into everything.
Okay, I got you. So when did you pick up like the guitar?
So guitar was back in high school, and I'm still not great with guitar, unfortunately. Back in high school, I really focused more on production, learning how to make beats, that kind of thing. I'd say I'm good enough with the guitar where I can record with it.
Yeah.
But if I was asked to play a live show, that ain't happening.
Okay.
I can't. I
get you.
I can't focus live. I can only play guitar sitting down because I
Yeah.
can really focus on it.
Like low pressure.
Exactly.
You're able
There's
to
no
like
pressure at
splice
all.
it
It just
together and stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that part's easy for me. So guitar, I haven't really. I'm nowhere near as good on guitar as I am on the drums. But, guitar is, it's something I can do. It's simple punk. I can do simple punk stuff. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say drumming was like your first instrument.
Sure.
I guess because I've noticed like a lot of good producers or even artists like Travis Scott, for example,
Yep.
he started drumming.
Yep. No.
And like he's like, there's like a quote from him. He was like, "You can fuck everything up in the song except the drums."
Yep. Yep.
Like
You have to keep
your
the tempo.
drums have to like stay clean, and you
Yep.
can mess everything up, and it can still be a good song, but you can't fuck up the drums.
100%. No. And
So that's interesting.
I agree with that. And, to kind of add on to that, like you said, yeah, a lot of producers are drummers as well.
Yeah.
And I got to say, when it comes to drumming itself, I think one of my, like, actually back in like high school, I stopped drumming for a bit.
Mhm.
And, I came across Blink 182.
Mhm.
Can I cuss?
Yeah, I cussed like twice already.
Oh, I didn't notice. Okay.
Yeah,
I
go
fucking
ahead.
hated Blink 182 when I first heard them.
Really?
I hated them.
Okay.
I hate Tom's voice. I don't hate it anymore, but I did hate it when I first heard it.
Yeah.
And then their song.
Is he the drummer or Tom? Is he the
Tom-
guitarist
he's-
or
yeah,
the?
guitarist.
Okay,
Guitarist
so he's
and
like
singer.
the really whiny one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Where are you?
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah.
That guy. So let me think. What's the name of that song? I gotta pull up the song real quick because this is the song that got stuck in my head. Let's see. I remember listening to it on the way to football practice every day. Dumpweed. Their song Dumpweed. My older brother would put on their album every time we drove to football practice, and I hated it.
Mhm.
But then a couple weeks later, Dumpweed was stuck in my head,
Yeah.
and I went to him. I was like, "Yo, what was that song?" I started singing it to him, and he showed me. And that kind of got me into Blink 182, which was my entry into punk music.
Okay.
And Travis Barker, the drummer,
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah, of course.
He's the reason I got back into drumming. And yeah,
He's so talented.
he's fucking crazy.
He's amazing.
No, I love him.
I love how he's like he's giving back. I think he's giving back to like the music scene, like the current music scene.
Yeah. No,
You
and
know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. I think it's cool. He's working with a lot of younger rap artists, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
He's like in his Mike Dean years.
Yes. No, exactly. Yeah. No, and I think that's really dope. So, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. So did you get like you said Blink 182 was the introduction to punk for you?
Yeah.
Did you get like into obviously you're influenced by pop punk in general, but did you ever get into like the older, like more hardcore genres of punk?
More along the lines of like Rancid, Black Flag.
Yeah, like that scene.
Somewhat.
Okay.
I fuck with all those bands. Pennywise, Rage Against the Machine. I like all those guys, but something about the emotionalness of pop punk is what really sticks out to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it combines the emotional part along with the hard hitting guitars, the fast drums. That's like the perfect combo for me. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Cool.
I do fuck with the old guys too, for sure.
Yeah. So since we're talking about like bands and stuff, I think it's a good time for you to bust out the Paramore guitar.
Let me pull them up.
I'm gonna let this man flex for like 2
I'm gonna
minutes.
flex so hard. All right. We got this first one right here. You can't really see me. You got this first one right here. This is a Fender Jazz Master. It's a custom. Let me pull up the other one. And then this next one is a custom Fender Telecaster Deluxe. And a little fun story behind these. Let me put them back real quick. So, a little story behind these. When I was 17, about to turn 18, I told my dad I wanted to learn how to play guitar. And basically, for my 18th birthday, I was like, just to, give me a cheap guitar. I don't care if it's crappy. Just a cheap guitar so I can learn. And he reached out to his boss, who happens to be the father of two of the members, one past member and one current member of Paramore. And if you know anything about pop punk, you know how fucking dope Paramore is. But basically, he reached out to his boss and goes, "Hey, do your kids have any old guitars that they don't want anymore? Because my son's trying to learn, you know." And, I had originally ordered a guitar from Guitar Center, and it showed up in pieces, like it was smashed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, shipped terribly.
Sucks, man.
And so after that, that's when he went to his boss.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know any of this was going on. I just knew my guitar showed up fucked up, and we were going to have to find another one.
Yeah.
And so there was one day, it was it was the day before my 18th birthday. My dad, he picked me up in his truck and he goes, "Yo, let's go to Nashville. I got this band I need to go check out." And he does this all the time. Since he works with a lot of new bands, he'll go watch them play, see how they sound, see if they're going to be a good fit for radio, that type of thing. And so we show up to this gigantic warehouse in Nashville. And we go up to the front desk. And she goes, and the lady at the front desk, she goes, "Who are you here to see?" And my dad just goes, I think it was like room A2 or something, And she goes, "And what's the band?" And my dad goes, "Paramore." And I was like, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm a big Paramore fan.
Yeah. So you thought he was messing
I
with
thought he was
you?
fucking with me,
Yeah.
And so we go up to the we go up to the section of the building, room A2 or whatever it was. We go in, and freaking Paramore is playing on the stage. They're prepping for their tour that they were about to go on. I think this was right before their fourth album. I think it's their fourth album, the one with Fake Happy on it. Maybe it's the fifth album. And they're in there playing, and it sounds fantastic. Haley's up on stage singing. Now I will say her vocals were not coming out of the speakers.
Okay.
Probably because if they were, people everywhere around the area would be like, "Oh shit, Paramore's in there." Because I don't think a lot of people are just gonna notice the instrumentals and be like, "Oh, that's Paramore." They'll just be like, "Oh, there's a punk band in there or something."
Yeah, she has a very distinct voice.
Yes, she does. It's a fantastic voice too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we show up, we sit down, we watch them while they're getting warmed up, getting prepped. The whole thing they're doing is they're just practicing, getting ready, practicing on the stage that they're gonna carry to each venue. And they take a break. And so Justin and Taylor York come over, and they say hi to my dad, then they say hi to me. So Taylor York, he's the main guitarist. Justin is his brother, and Justin was the touring guitarist with them. He was the rhythm.
Okay,
And then I
gotcha.
think Taylor was the lead. I might be mixing that up. But they come over, they go, "Hey, Mr. Hubbard, how you doing?" They knew my dad. They've known my dad for forever, just because my dad actually used to babysit them, which is
Really?
crazy
That's
enough
crazy.
to think. I know, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
So they come over, we start talking. I introduce myself, and they're like, "Hey, thanks for coming, man. I'm glad you like our music." And then they bring out 2 guitar cases. I'm like, "Oh, dope. Are they gonna show me some of their guitars?" I didn't think I was getting anything. I just thought they were wanting to hang out with me,
Yeah.
And so they open both guitar cases, and they go, "Which one do you like better?" And I was like, "What?" And they go, "Which one do you like better?" And so I pick the Telecaster, because I've always loved Telecasters. I love how they sound. I actually like the aesthetic look of them as well. I don't know why.
Yeah. They're very classic.
They're classic.
Yeah.
That's
They're
probably
timeless.
it. They're timeless. They're classic. They look good no matter what genre you're playing them in. They sound good no matter what genre you're playing
You
them
can
in.
be a country player
Yeah.
on Broadway in Nashville, or
Exactly.
you can be like a Finnish black metal
Yes.
band.
No,
But
I mean,
it's gonna look clean either way.
And even I think Telecaster is the main guitar that Nothing Nowhere uses, so I love that as well. But so they give me the guitar, and then I'm like, "Well, thank you." I couldn't believe it. And then they give me the other one, and I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" And so they kind of told me about the conversation they'd had with my dad, and then after that they go, "Just so you know, these were the 2 guitars that we recorded the Misery Business or Riot album with."
Yeah.
That
Fucking crazy.
that blew me away, because that's my favorite album by them.
Yeah. And
So-
it's their most classic album.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So somehow managed to get both the guitars that they recorded that album with.
That's
I
cool.
just want to say Hayley Williams is the nicest celebrity I've ever met in my life.
Let's go.
She's the sweetest human being ever. She is so fucking nice. She's shorter than I expected, but everyone is, okay?
Yeah.
Everyone's shorter than I expect. Especially when it comes to celebrities, because they seem bigger than life to you,
Yeah.
So when you meet them, you're like, oh, you're just a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, she was so fucking nice. She was so sweet. Zach, the drummer, he saw they were giving the guitars to me, and he goes, oh, here's a pair of my drumsticks.
Let's go.
So I gotta find those. They're probably in my closet over here. And then Haley goes, I give you my vocal cords if I could. That was kind of funny. Anyways, but yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's how I got those guitars. I'm very grateful for that opportunity. I think I got ridiculously lucky that my dad even knew who they were, knew about them. They'd grown up knowing our family. That's just crazy to me. And a little while after that, I actually got the chance, because this was back when I was doing photography. Justin actually invited me to his home studio to do a photo shoot, because he had a brand deal with a guitar. So I went over, shot some photos of him, and yeah, no, Justin and Taylor are very hospitable to me. I had their numbers for a while, but I lost that phone. Back when I was in Canada, because I toured with another band for a bit as a video technician, Justin had actually seen that I was in the same city they were in and invited me to the show. I couldn't go, unfortunately, because I'd work. But
that's cool though.
They're the nicest humans. They're the nicest celebrities you could ever meet. They are ridiculously talented, and I'm just so grateful I even got to meet them. So I love humble musicians. I've had a few people that have been at some of my shows that freak out when they meet me, and I'm like, dude, I'm a nobody. I go to concerts too,
Yeah.
I'm
a fan like you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the last show I played was with Lil Skele and Vito and Arkaeo. I'm huge fans of those three musicians, and I couldn't believe I even got the opportunity to play with them.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think no matter what happens, I will always just be a music fanboy. Like, even if I make it big, I'm always just going to be a fan. I'm just a fan. That's why I make music, because I'm a fan of other people's music.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the story.
I want to talk about your sampling, because I would like your movie sampling, because I think that's been around like at least most of your career, I would say.
It has. And
I heard I
have future songs with it as well.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm sure you do.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, go ahead.
I heard the only one I recognize was Saint, or wait, no, that's not what it's called. What's it called? Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my song with Young Van.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I
that was actually a clip. I actually have not seen that anime yet. My wife has seen it. She loves that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Will Tobins? Did you ever meet him?
No.
Okay. Will Tobins was a kid I knew in high school, and him and what's his name? His name was Evan, I think. Either way, we were at Will's house, and we were making a lo-fi tape. And a lot of people in lo-fi put movie samples at the beginning.
Yeah.
And we made a lo-fi song, and it was just a beat, no vocals. And Will found that Cowboy Bebop sample and threw it on there.
Mm-hmm.
And the project was on my computer, so I had that sample file.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was making my song with Young Van, I threw it on there. I thought it sounded dope. I mean, let's be honest, Lil Peep, back in the old days, back when he was dropping his earlier stuff, he did that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite one he did was probably Hellboy, where he has the audio from the Hellboy cartoon at the beginning. So those two kind of scenarios were really what inspired me to drop some movie samples into my music. And so far, I have not been sued. I have had one song taken off of SoundCloud, which was my song Psycho with my friend Caleb is Sad.
Okay. That's still on Spotify though, right?
It is on Spotify.
Okay. So you can listen to Psycho on Spotify.
You can. It's not emo though. It's
a deranged fucking weird song.
It is. It's like Corpse meets Scarlord. It's very hard, very
Yeah.
guttural, very screamy. But it's fun. It's a fun song.
Yeah, it's a fun song. Don't. It's not that deep.
But that one sampled Light's laugh from Death Note at the beginning.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
And actually,
yeah, I knew that was from an
I
anime.
kind of got that idea from City Morgue. You know,
Yeah.
because they did that a lot, and their old songs, they don't do that anymore because they actually did get in trouble for that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Which
no,
is a
I
shame.
love adding scenes with emotion to my songs. Trying to think of it. One of my most recent songs, I'm trying to remember the name. It samples an audio clip from The Haunting of Bly Manor, which I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
But that when I watched the show, that scene struck me emotionally. So I immediately went and downloaded the scene, turned it into an MP3 and threw it on a song.
Yeah.
And in one of my upcoming songs that I'm dropping this summer, I actually sampled Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Let's go.
I'm not even kidding.
The first one?
Yeah. Second one, I think.
Okay.
It's where
That's the best one, anyways.
I'm trying to remember what scene it was. Either way, yeah.
That's crazy, man. So I want to talk about your horror influence, because earlier you said that you really like horror, the
yeah, I
horror
do.
genre.
You can't see it, but up on the wall back here is a poster from Saw, signed by the actor that played Jigsaw. I'm a big horror guy. I'm a fanatic. So for the horror inspiration for me, you'll mostly see it in my darker songs like Psycho,
Yeah.
but also in a lot of my artwork.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. So a lot of my cover art that I make is inspired by horror posters.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the fonts I use, the coloring, the color palette, the framing of the subject, just stuff you would see in thriller or horror movies.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite genres of films. And I gotta say, back in high school, horror, that was when I was like really getting introduced into it. And, finding Scarlord, Suicide Boys, Ghostman, those kind of artists only really fueled it. Because, they're all clearly very inspired by a lot of different horror.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I gotta say it mostly takes place in terms of cover art, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like when I guess and just to like a new person that's like going through your stuff, like looking at your covers.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are just like, okay, this is just like an emo cover or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like once you take a second look at it and like you really look at it, you can see like the actual like horror like elements and influence in there. It's not like just it's not just like a dude making like an emo cover to make an emo cover. It's like, oh shit, this is from a movie or something like that.
I put a good amount of work into all the covers I make. And there's times here and there where I've worked on a cover for weeks and I don't like it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll just throw some shit together and put it out.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple songs where I've replaced the cover art months after it releases. But for the most part, I like to spend a lot of time working on cover art, making it based off of the things that I'm inspired by. So, yeah.
How did you get into like making art, like your artwork and all that?
So, artwork's another thing I've really been doing my whole life. As a kid, it was just finger painting, colored pencils, that type of thing. And then middle school, I really started doing a lot of portraits. And if you go through my old Facebook posts from years ago, there's a lot of portraits of metal band vocalists.
Okay.
Like Mitch Looker, Austin from Of Mice and Men. I did Ollie from Bring Me the Horizon. And I've always really loved doing art. And then back in high school, I took a college class at O'More University, where I learned a lot about graphic design. So.
Okay, I want to talk about like your collaborations because you've collaborated with a lot of different people.
Sure.
I just want to ask you first off, like, what's your 3 favorite? And not like this artist is my favorite person to work with, but like this song is my favorite.
Oh boy. Okay. My number one is my song called Anxiety with Lil Skele, which is not released yet.
Okay.
That's my favorite so far just because he's such a big influence on me. And I just got lucky enough to get him on a song with me. Cool. That one's up there for sure. Oh boy, let's see. Definitely Toxic with Young Kujo.
Yeah. Young Kujo's fucking crazy.
Yes, I know. Dude, he's actually cool. He's the main guy I play games with.
Really?
Yeah. And we're in the middle of recording another song right now, which we haven't done in years. So
yeah,
I'm definitely excited for that one.
Yeah, Young Kujo's he's a crazy talent.
Yes, 100%. I wish he would make more music. Kujo, if you're watching this, start making more fucking songs. And then this is in no order, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anything I have with Arkaeo.
Yeah, I was about to mention every single song with him stands out to me.
So Good Morning, Goodbye, I Can't Picture You, everything we make together is phenomenal, and hopefully in the future we'll have some opportunities to make more songs together because he and I are just. I feel like we really complement each other on every track we get on together. So.
I would love like a full joint project from you two. That would be amazing.
Okay, so that's the funny thing. The last 3 songs I released with him, which were, let's see, You Don't Owe Me, Good Morning, Goodbye. I'm trying to think of the last fucking one. Either way, all 3 of them were supposed to be on a single EP. Okay. And I was actually running short of songs to release because I had a lot going on at the end of last year. Didn't have as much time to record, so we actually were just thinking, let's just do three different singles. So the original idea was to have a joint project, but it got split up. So
okay, gotcha. Yeah. How did you meet Arkaeo?
We met at a show back in 2017 or 18. It was actually a show that Kujo was playing, and he wanted me to get up there and play. I think it was Toxic with him. But yeah, I met Kian Arkaeo. I met Kian there, and I'd heard of him before. I'd heard his music. I liked it, but I'd only really spoken to him before through Facebook because I had done a logo design for a friend of mine, which actually happened to be extremely similar to Arkaeo's logo, which I did not know.
Just coincidental.
It's not coincidental, I don't think.
Oh.
I was told what to design, and what I ended up designing was very similar. But no shade, to the guy who I made the design for. I love you and your music's dope. I'm not going to say your name because I don't want to make you feel awkward. And Kian's designs are dope too. But that's where I met him. We didn't talk much. I think I followed him on Instagram that night. He followed me back. And then after that, we got to talking for a little bit and started making stuff.
Hell yeah, man. Should we talk about Nevermind a little bit? Since I know them personally.
Of course. Where to start? I knew Nevermind, both of them. I knew them in middle school, high school, just through Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Kent and Parker were always best friends. I'd really gotten to know Kent through a summer camp trip. I was 17, I think, and we started hanging out after that. We started making music. We were making metal songs actually for a bit. They were terrible. Thank God I can't find them anywhere because they were awful. But we did that for a bit, and then I started hanging out with Parker too. I never really felt like I was able to get as close with Parker. I don't know. I love Parker. He's definitely a great friend of mine.
He's very talented.
Incredible, dude. He's so fucking good at singing.
Yeah, and music.
Yes, 100%.
He was playing like. I don't know. He just has a good ear. He was playing like
a great ear, yeah.
I think I was playing like rap song. It was either "Humble" by Kendrick Lamar,
Sure,
or Mo Bamba, like one of those, like something like that.
sure.
I was like playing it on guitar or whatever, and then he was like, "You're playing that completely wrong." And then he starts playing it on piano,
Yep.
and it sounds just like it. I'm
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Yeah, Parker's ridiculously gifted.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the reason I never got as close with Parker is just because he had a lot more going on. I feel like than Ken did. Ken tended to be a little bit more free.
Yeah.
I had no fucking life, so that worked. That worked out perfectly. But yeah, I love them both. Countless nights I would hang out with them, spend the night. Get drunk, watch movies, play video games. Great fucking times. Kent and Parker, if you're watching this, you should move back to Tennessee, please. I miss you guys.
Do you think you're gonna collab with them like again?
I'd love to. I haven't really had anything I've made that came up where I was like, "Ooh, they should get on this," because the music I'm making now is very different than what it was when I started.
Yeah.
Same with them. They were more lo-fi emo rap back then.
Yeah.
I feel like they're a lot more pop based now.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
They're more accessible.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If
Absolutely.
you can get a bigger audience by becoming more accessible like that, fucking go for it.
Yeah.
I can't write pop. I've tried. It's just maybe I could if I really put in the work, but I love what I make right now too much to really want to expand and like the dark screamo shit that I've been making. That's as far as I've been expanding at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm happy with what they're making now. I think it sounds great. It suits them very well. But yeah, I'd love to collaborate with them again in the future. We'll just have to wait for the right project to come up.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about live shows because I was looking on your Instagram and you had like
that many.
Yeah, but I want to talk about it though because
Sure.
I saw like you and Arkaeo were like playing a show a couple months ago.
Sure.
And stuff like that, and it looked really, really grungy, which is what I love.
Yeah,
I love shows like that. So, what's like the craziest show you've had, or just like show experience, whether it's like during or after, just anything like that?
It's got to be my most recent show, and it was during the very last song of our set, which was me and Arkaeo. We played I Can't Picture You. That was the last song we played. And before the song started, I told everybody in the audience, this is a music video right here. We're filming right now. I need you to go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And people went fucking crazy.
Yeah.
There was a fucking mosh pit. It was just, that was the craziest experience for me. I never thought I'd ever see anybody moshing to my music. And Good Morning Goodbye doesn't sound like you would mosh to it. It doesn't feel like it would go that hard. But I promise you, dude, at a live show when the 808s start kicking,
yeah, absolutely.
Holy shit, dude, it's a vibe. It's fucking fun.
Yeah.
But
because like in that video, he's singing, and then you're like doing crowd control right next to him, like screaming in the mic, and it's like God, that's like what I love.
It was fucking.
That's
fun.
what I love at shows.
I love that shit. He's a great person to play shows with. Arkaeo always puts on a good show. He's got great live vocals. That's one thing I'm still trying to work on because obviously, you're recording at home. You can mix it as well as you want and make it sound perfect. But live, it's a different story.
Yeah.
So, live vocals are something I'm still trying to work on. But I don't play that many live shows, so not too much room to practice there.
I got you. It's like back to your guitar thing where it's like you can splice it and you can
I'm good enough live with my vocals. One thing I struggle with is when I do play live shows, with how little I know about production, I know a good amount, but I don't know enough in certain areas. And live music is where I'm lacking for sure because I've only ever figured out how to do raw vocals live. I've tried to do vocals live with some effects on them, compression, a little bit of reverb, that kind of thing. And I actually tried that at my last show and it fucked my computer up. It didn't work out like it was supposed to. So, but I love playing live shows. I love when people come up to me afterwards and tell me they fuck with my music. That means everything to me. That other people like what I've put so much work into. So I'm gonna say something real quick, and I'm not gonna name names. Okay. Don't be scared to go up and say hi to artists at shows because certain artists that I've played with that I look up to are very awkward in person.
Yes.
They're not.
Absolutely.
They're not assholes. They're not egotistical.
Yeah.
They're just as awkward as you are.
Or if they're not awkward, they're like friendly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're either awkward or they're friendly.
Like welcoming and friendly, not like distant.
Nothing Nowhere was actually one of the nicest artists I ever met.
Yeah.
Like he was down to earth, super dope. Same with Haley, like I mentioned. Maddie Mullins from Memphis Mayfire, super down to earth guy, super sweet. Trevor from Our Last Night, he's a super sweet guy as well. I ran into him at one of my former jobs. Most of these people are nice, so don't be afraid to go say hi.
So I want to ask you about your song "Kill Myself."
Yeah,
that's your most popular song.
It is.
I'm just gonna ask you, like, why do you think that's the one that's the most popular at the moment?
Because I will say, when I was creating the song and I was naming it, I knew it was gonna end up being my most popular.
Yeah.
Just because of the name.
Yeah.
That's a name that people are gonna click on. That's a name that people are gonna listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And hella credit to Got Heard It as well for dropping on it, because he took that song to another level.
Yes, absolutely.
I think a lot of the things I said in that song resonated with a lot of people. I was, at that time in my life, I was going through a lot of darkness. One of my best friends had just died. He overdosed on some medication. End of 2020. And so, I was still going through a lot at that time. I wrote a song about kind of like, feeling like sometimes there's not much left that I feel like I can do anymore if I'm losing my friends like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like maybe that just happened to resonate with a lot of people. But yeah, I think the name did a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My homie did a lot by hopping on the song. And then just what I say in the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole atmosphere of it too.
Yeah. No, it's a very atmospheric for sure. You can feel it in the guitar at the beginning. You can just tell when you just start the song, you can tell this one's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the story behind that one for sure.
All right. Now let's talk. So it can be that, or it can be another song, or just something.
Sure.
What's the most, like, either song or piece of art, or it can even be like merch or anything?
Sure.
Just something you've created that's like you're most proud of.
Oh man. Oh, you know what? It's a song called "Walked Out," which has not come out yet.
Okay.
I bought the beat off of YouTube because I fucking loved it. I came across it, I heard it, I was like, that's insane. I'm going to work on that. So I recorded the whole song, and it had this certain vibe to it where at the end I was like, this needs real guitar and real drums.
Yeah.
And so most of the song is just like an emo rap song, but throughout the bridge and the final chorus, it transitions into like a heavy pop punk song. And that song I'm the most proud of. And that'll come out this summer too. Sorry, I keep on referencing future songs. I'm really proud of everything I've been working on. But that song for sure, production value is great. My homie did some production on it. He helped write he didn't help write. He wrote all the guitars and the drums for that. Because I can always play drums, but he's like, when it comes to mixing and mastering actual instruments, he's great at it. So
yeah. Okay. Since you're talking about future songs, what's like a song that's out there already, where it's like if you're introducing someone to your music, you're like, okay, here you go. This is like where you start.
Interesting. Okay. Ooh, that's a good question. Let's pull up my songs. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think a great introduction to my music would be my song "I Hate Me Too" that I did with my friend Jeremy. That's a great introduction, I think. Same as maybe "Cut Myself" or "Fucked Up Love" with Arkaeo.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah. Fucked Up Love.
Yeah, those are definitely some of the ones I definitely want to introduce to someone who might be new to my music.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I guess this will be the last question.
Sure.
What's like the future of Into Misery? Like, we've been talking a lot about your future songs, but just like your future direction, what is that?
Evolving, branching out. branching out into newer areas and older areas. So one of my goals for this year is to branch back out into more of the classic sound that I had. Because I miss making those kinds of songs. I miss the instrumentals. I miss how dark the lyrics were. Because recently I've been doing a lot more of like Midwest emo stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to bring back that old sound. I also want to just keep branching out into different genres, fucking around. Like, I've been listening to a ton of new metal. Like, Korn, Linkin Park. Yeah. There's another artist named Mad Kelly.
Okay.
He's a newer up-and-coming guy. I've been fucking with him a lot. So I'm thinking this year I actually might try and make some type of new metal song.
Okay, that'd be cool.
See. Yeah. So definitely, for me, it's just branching out, branding myself a little bit better. I got to drop more merch, maybe play a song or play a show or two this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all about progression, all about building up, getting better at what I'm doing, doing more. Yeah.
Got you. Are you going to make any music videos?
Yes. And that song I had mentioned, Walked Out, the one that ends with like the pop punk outro and all that, I'm in the process of trying to set up a music video for that. And I actually do already have a music video. What's that song called? Oh, wrong phone.
Oh, you're good.
I had a past song that we actually wrote or created a music video for. Yeah, I'm Fine with Arkaeo. Yeah. We actually already have a music video film for that. We've just never released it. And I hope to release it eventually.
Are you the one screaming in that song?
I am.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I love that. It's so that scream it just elevates the song.
Thanks. I got to do it more. I think the last song I did that in was Should Have Been Me, that song. Mm-hmm. And then I have a music video in the works for I Can't Picture You, and it's just combined. It's compiled out of photos and videos that were taken at my last show.
Okay.
So cool. Those three are the ones I kind of have in progress right now.
You should put that vintage 90s filter on that one.
Oh, I will. You already know. It's kind of like a VHS filter and everything. It's going to be fucking dope. But yeah, definitely music videos in the future. I think the main reason I don't do a lot of music videos is because the budget that they require. It's expensive, man, and I don't feel like my audience is big enough where I can justify putting in that kind of money.
True, but you can also do like smaller budget stuff.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like with your image, like you could put out
that would actually work pretty well.
Yeah, you could put out like some like lower budget like grainy videos.
I need to. I don't know. Who knows? That is something I do want to work on, is filming my own music videos. In my studio, in my house, in my car, or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep a lookout for in the future.
Okay. Let's go with like one last question.
Sure.
It's going to be two questions technically.
That's all right.
Like, so who's your dream collaboration? Let's go first underground. Okay. Like your dream underground collaboration, and then second, like just mainstream or big, like a big collaboration.
I'll give you two mainstream artists I want to collaborate with. That would be a dream of mine. And then the underground one would be Lil Skele, which I already got.
Okay.
So, I already got my dream collaboration with that. That's huge for me.
Yeah.
I got to say my top two would be Nothing Nowhere and Bad Omens, actually.
Okay.
I would love to have Noah from Bad Omens on one of my songs. Like, they're finally starting to get real popular.
Yeah.
Dude, I bought their merch a week after their first album released. Like,
okay, so you're like a day one fan.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be like an asshole like who thinks I'm better than everyone else, because I'm not. I'm glad they're getting popular. I'm not a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
But I think it's fucking awesome. I got a chance to be there at the beginning and kind of see their evolution from super hard metal to what they're doing now, which is still plenty of metal, but it's also got some pop influence as well. So definitely, yeah, Bad Omens and Nothing Nowhere would be my two dream collaborations right now. Even maybe Bring Me the Horizon. I don't know.
Is there any just anything else you want to say or talk about before we end the video here?
Trying to think. Can't really think of anything. I just, whoever watches this, thank you for watching. Thanks for checking out my music. Thanks for, checking out his YouTube channel. we appreciate it as content creators.
Absolutely.
An insane amount of work goes into what I do and what he does. We work very hard at what we do. That alarm's going to keep pissing me off. We work very hard at what we do. We put a lot of time in, a lot of money in. So we do appreciate anybody who I just appreciate anybody who is willing to put in the time to, consume and enjoy what I create. So just thank you for that. Yeah.
Sweet, man.
All right.
Awesome. I think that was a great interview.
Fuck yeah.